The seventh and last word of Jesus is a word of hope. While he's felt anguish and distress and abandonment, here he puts his life and his spirit in God's hands. Like a child who willingly trusts a parent and jumps off a diving board into the deep end, knowing that they cannot swim, but the parent can. The poet for reunion is Cassidy. Cassidy, come on up. And the last of the 7 words of Jesus, Father, I entrust my spirit into your hands.
Dear friends, since God loved us that much, we surely ought to love each other, John 4:11. Then we who are still alive and are left will be caught up with them in the clouds, Thessalonians 4:17. Clouds. Isn't it odd that we find such misery in the presence of the clouds, belittle them for darkening our otherwise perfect world, and yet that is where we have the rest of our existence waiting for us. As a child, you draw a smiley face on the sun and a frown on the clouds, as if rain does not bring life and the sun rays that poke through the clouds are not the stairs to heaven, as if that is not the closest we come to looking directly at the sun. How funny that we are so quick to deem something wrong. How peculiar that we are so quick to discount the reunion of the waters of the sea and the light of the stars. Isn't it odd that we so fear the ground our bodies will gently rot and sink into that we chase the sky, when there is so much fresh grass to hug our footsteps here? Isn't it odd we do the exact same thing to human beings? For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. Matthew 25:35. Has it occurred to you that Jesus is a refugee? For this reason, I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named, Ephesians 3:14. Every family is named, every family is reunited, except for the ones that most closely resemble Christ. Because for some reason, those families are the ones we see fit to throw in cages, to separate by 20,000 miles in barbed wire, because we are one nation under God, and we saw ourselves fit to decide who that God really loves. The very belief in Christ is founded off of reunion, off of love and family forged, loving those that are different than us. Yet we ignore the last word that he said. You do not have to hold the cuffs. Silence is violence. When racism and ignorance slides from latent to blatant and the hopeless slippery slope is not mended just with thoughts and prayers. If you stand by while families are torn with no deadline to reunion, I just know that an all-loving and caring God must shake his head at you. When you hope for a reunion with him but scoff at the reunion of others no less deserving than you, I encourage you to remember the full phrase is not blood is thicker than water. The phrase is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. There were no blood relatives sat around the final table of Christ. Because the Almighty knew that love does not have a last name. It is not just those who you were born loving that you should continue to love. Reuniting people is reuniting souls, is living through him. We are praising a God who flipped tables at injustice. So simply discussing inhumane treatment, simply promising thoughts and prayers, because I know that is not what he would have done. It is not enough. One day, I think the two of us will reunite, and I will show him my accomplishments as a child shows their father a test that they scored well on. And I will feel like I have done some kind of good in this world when he points to an answer and says that he got that one too.
Damn, Cassidy, you were up here preaching. I have to invite you back on a Sunday morning sometime.